Hey everyone, you're watching We Had That, and in this video I'm going to talk about the Star Wars Biker Scout action figure from the first wave of Return of the Jedi figures in 1983. As with most kids my age in the late 1970s and early 1980s, I was a huge fan of Star Wars. From the time I got my first 4 figures around 1978 up until the early 1980s, Star Wars figures were easily my go-to toys. I spent hours creating adventures with these awesome figures. When the new figures for Return of the Jedi arrived in stores in 1983, I had mostly moved on from Star Wars figures to the new G.I. Joe A Real American Hero line. But when I saw that there were new Star Wars figures coming out, I returned to these old favorites for some more adventures. I suspect that part of my interest was because I was excited about the new Star Wars movie, Return of the Jedi. Seeing all of the new action figures on the back of the package for my first Return of the Jedi figure sent my mind into overdrive, wondering what role each of the characters would play. The Biker Scout in particular looked like one of the cooler figures from this new assortment. When I eventually found the figure in the store, I was definitely glad to add him to my collection. From looking at the card back from my original childhood figure, I see that I found him at KB Toys, and he cost $3.79. I would certainly love to find any vintage carded Star Wars figures at that price today, but especially this one. The figure was first released on a 65 card back. At the time, I only knew this character as Biker Scout, but over the years, I've learned that the characters are officially called Scout Troopers, and that the name Biker Scout is a nickname given to them because they can often be found riding speeder bikes. The Scout Troopers are specialized stormtroopers who are most often used for reconnaissance missions. They're considered to be an elite special forces version of the stormtrooper who have lighter armor, which allows them to have a wider range of motion. They're also trained to work more independently than regular stormtroopers. While regular stormtroopers are effective mostly because there are just so many of them, the Empire would just send large numbers of stormtroopers to overwhelm their enemies, but they took a different approach with the Scout Troopers. Because they were more well-trained, the Scout Troopers were often assigned to carry out more individualized missions, as well as given missions to patrol the areas surrounding Imperial bases as a security force. They commonly use speeder bikes to carry out this mission, which is where the Biker Scout nickname originated. Additionally, Scout Troopers were used for recon and espionage. They were also excellent marksmen and commonly served as sharpshooters to assist regular stormtroopers in battle. The Biker Scout action figures came with an EC-17 holdout blaster, also known as a scout pistol, which was the weapon typically issued to Scout Troopers. These pistols had a built-in targeting scope, and some models had an intensely bright light mounted to the barrel that could temporarily blind the target. One unique feature of this blaster was that the trigger was mounted to the side of the gun rather than under the barrel to make it easier to fire with gloves. Designed as a short-range blaster, the EC-17 wasn't very accurate at long distances. The first time we saw Scout Troopers in the Star Wars universe was in Return of the Jedi, where they were guarding the Death Star's shield generator on the planet Endor. This particular group of elite Scout Troopers were called the Ghost Lancers Company. They patrolled the area on speeder bikes to protect the shield generator from potential threats. Obviously, once Luke Skywalker and company arrived, they were unsuccessful in this particular mission. Another favorite appearance of mine was when a couple of Scout Troopers showed up in the TV show The Mandalorian. This was a great reference to an old favorite character with clever humor that really took me back to my time playing with this action figure as a kid. And speaking of childhood, did you have any Biker Scout figures when you were a kid? What did you think of them back then? Was the Biker Scout figure a favorite of yours, or did he spend most of his time back in the toy box? What do you think of these figures now? Tell me in the comments below. Also, please give this video a thumbs up, and if you have a chance, it would be great if you would share it on social media. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel and hit that notifications bell. As always, Thanks for watching.